Set is a new guest to the show, Jim Hake, who is the founder of Spirit for America. It's an organization that's a public-private partnership that helps, well, you tell us, what does Spirit for America do?
Well, Spirit of America is a nonprofit organization funded entirely by American citizens that provides assistance. It's exactly what our troops on the ground say is needed to help them be more successful in their mission, to be safer, to build goodwill, and make faster progress. We do that in Afghanistan, Africa, and South America.
Okay, in Afghanistan, give me a for instance. What does Spirit of America
we provided sewing machines to help soldiers and Marines with Afghan women that are a key part of stability operations there. We provide a team of Navy SEALs with water pumps to help in a mountain village. We're providing a lot of assistance with Afghan security forces, dirt bikes, metal detectors, winter clothing, all of which is requested by our troops to help them help the local people. And with the Afghan security forces, wherever we've provided this support, there's never been one of these so-called green-on-blue attacks against our forces.
Wow. Now, but somebody would look to you and say, okay, well, why, you're a great guy. You're doing this great, organization to help Americans, troops do the job that they're trying to do. Why isn't the United States government doing this? Why do they need you? Well,
Spirit of America fills gaps in what can be done with government funds. With taxpayer funding, there are inevitable restrictions on what can be done. And in a large system, things don't always get where they need to be when they need to be there. The government does a huge amount of this. And so we're filling the gaps where it isn't being done or can't be done with taxpayer money.
And how is it being received by not only the U.S. forces, but the Afghans?
Well, by the Afghans, it's one of the key things that the relationships that are built over there are critically important, as they are anywhere. And so much depends on the personal relationship that's built between U.S. forces and the local people. The things that we've done are directly what's needed there. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's very tailored. Things vary by village, from village to village and person to person.
And so U.S. forces, let's say it's a group that in Helmand province, and they get in touch with your organization and say, what, we need help building a well, we need sewing machines so Afghan widows can make a livelihood. Is that the sort of thing that happens?
Exactly. And we've provided funding for job training programs that help Afghan men get jobs instead of be on the battlefield fighting our troops. We've provided sewing machines and other assistance to help Afghan women generate income for themselves. Sometimes it's simple humanitarian aid. Warm clothing in the wintertime is a huge thing if you really need it.
Now, you're a guy who's come out of private industry very successfully.
Right.
What brought you to this?
Well, like many people, after 9/11, I wanted to do something to help. And it took a little while to figure out what to do. I didn't have any government or military background. I got the idea for Spirit of America, understanding what U.S. Special Operations Forces were doing on an informal basis in Afghanistan. And before I started the organization, the highest level military person that I spoke with was Sergeant First Class Jay Smith with the Special Forces Group 3 out of Fort Bragg.
And he said, this is what we really need.
Well, what he said was, this support will literally save lives. And when he told me that, and he helped me understand what had actually happened with his team in Afghanistan, and I understood what the difference that the American people could make, literally being able to reach halfway around the world and have an impact not just on the goodwill, but on the lives of our troops, I knew that I had to start the organization.
So you were doing this initially because you thought it would save American lives, but in doing this, what you've really done is start creating many industries within Afghanistan.
Well, that and also understanding how U.S. security operations in this irregular warfare environment really work, and what the wars and conflicts and security challenges of the 21st century are. I understood that this kind of support that can come uniquely from the private sector and American people is a great complement to what our troops and U.S. personnel on the ground can do with government resources. So understanding that fit, it's one of the things that if you're concerned about the future of our country, which you are, we all are, it's a fundamentally better way for the United States to defend our interests and ideals. And the American people and private sector, what we can do alongside U.S. troops and U.S. personnel is always going to be better than what the government alone can do.
Okay, spiritofamerica.net. What happens to you guys when we pull out of Afghanistan?
Well, our support right now is focused in Afghanistan. We have 68,000 troops that are still serving there. Most Americans aren't aware of that, I think. But as the troops draw down, we've already been providing support to U.S. security and stability operations in West Africa, in South America, in the Middle East, and elsewhere. And what our troops are doing there is really remarkable. Again, most of it is out of the public eye, not because it's secret, it's just unknown to most Americans. People don't hear about it through the media, for example. What they're doing is working on addressing small problems before they become big problems, to really try to avoid or prevent the next Afghanistan from happening. So right now, Spirit of America is providing that fast, flexible, decentralized support more outside of Afghanistan toward the end of preventing conflict.
Right. So this is the really ultimate example of smart power. How does somebody get in touch if they want to get involved with your organization?
Well, if people visit our website at spiritofamerica.net, it lists many of the things that we're working on. And people, if they choose to donate, they can provide funding exactly for a specific project, and 100% of their funding goes to that project. So they can choose where their money goes.
Great. It's up on our website now, so
right.
people can get in touch with you and do some awfully good deeds.
Absolutely.
Great way to start the new year, don't you think?
It is.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, KT.
Jim, Hake, and spiritofamerica.net.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Great. Well, now we're going to go back to our D.C. Bureau, where we've got Bill Harlow, former